Today we're working on a Lacy Stockinette pattern. Isn't it beautiful and delicate? I love it. Let's get started. Welcome to Good Knit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches. Today we're working on this Lacy Stockinette, and it is made modular. So that means we're going to be working on short rows to make these modular panels, but we will not be wrapping. So there are no wraps on these short rows to make it. It is actually a 2-row repeat. So you're working a row 1 and a row 2 that stacks up, and it just grows on you really fast. And I'm actually working with a larger needle than necessary, so you'll want to jump up a few needle sizes if you use a different yarn. What we're using today is Classic Elite yarns in the Chateau, which is a baby alpaca and bamboo viscose, so 70% baby alpaca. The stitches are 3 stitches per inch with a US 11 needle recommended, or 8mm, and I'm using a 15. They also even go down to a 10, US 10 or 6mm, but we're using a US 15 or 10mm today, and we'll be working on these 2-row repeats, and that will be all we're doing in the video, and then you can use this on any other pattern you would like. For more information on this stitch pattern, or to get your copy of the pattern, open the description below. For this pattern, you need a 6+3 multiple, and I've got 33 stitches cast on long tail, and then I knit a foundation row, and then it puts you on the right side. So you'll want to do that first. And I have 33 stitches, which gets me about 12.5 inches wide. Of course, this can stretch much further, but that's just kind of a moderate number. All right, go ahead and cast on, and we'll begin on row 1 of the stitch repeat. So we're on a row 1. Now, if you've just done a cast on and a knit row, you're ready to begin. So you would need to be on a right side to start this row. And I'm going to start by knitting 6 stitches. So we're just going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I've got just 6 on here. I'm going to actually just turn it now. Now there is no wrapping needed. I've got my yarn still in the back, and when I turn my needles this way, it's already in a position. Now I am throwing, so if you're knitting continental, you'll have to do what works for you. But as I'm turning, my needle and my yarn is in the position to go ahead and start purling. So we're going to purl those 6 stitches that we just did. So it's purled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then turn. So if I'm going too fast, just pause your video or hit that playback speed button to change it. And then now that we've turned it, so that is 1 repeat. That's 2 rows. It's like a modular panel, so it's like 2 miniature rows in your bigger row. So we've got that started, and we want to continue with knitting it again. So we're repeating those 2 rows twice more. So we're going to knit 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, and then we're going to turn it, and we want to work on the reverse. So the wrong side rows are purled to keep that stockinette. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can really see the division now between this modular panel and then these stitches that were right here. It's creating this ever elongating gap. Okay, and then you're just going to do that one more time, then across, and then purl across. And of course the purl row, you're purling to the end here. But once you get onto the next modular section, you won't be able to do that. So you may want to count in your head, 6 every time. All right, I'm going to turn over. I'm going to give you a couple more tips, and then you'll be able to start repeating this soon. So we're back on the right side row, and we've done all our repeats that we need to do. And then you're going to need to move over to the next section. So what you do is you have to knit across again. So we're going to knit across and do those last six stitches to finish off this modular panel. But what I want you to know is when you are counting across and you say you forget where you are, just make sure when you are on that beginning knit 6 stitches, look at the next stitches over here. And if you've got 3 that are by themselves, once you get several of these rows going on, not on the first time you do this, but the next time you get back to a row 1, after several repeats like this, then you'll start to see these little miniature panels pop up. You see this, how this is working here? So you're going to see 3 just kind of all alone. You just want to make sure not to work those. If you need to put a stitch marker on here or something to remind yourself, you could, but it's in danger of, you know, flying off. So now that I've knit across, I've got that modular panel done, I'm just going to start knitting the next stitches here for that same repeat. So you can just knit 1, 2, 3, and as you can see on that one, it completes that, and I go on to this next little modular panel. Now on yours, if you've just cast on, you won't see that, but I am just working the first 3 from this set of 6 stitches here. Okay, and then it leaves me 3 left here. So see how it has that same look? And then you just continue by turning, and again, your yarn is in the right position, and start purling. So you're going to do that until you have 3 stitches that remain. Those last 3 stitches are going to be repeated just the same. Knit the 3, purl them, repeat that 2 more times, and then knit 1 more last row to the end. Pause your video and I'll meet you back up at that point. See you soon. All right, we're on a row 2, and you can see this long line here connecting it, and that's what connects those different sets of 6. So the next time a line will form, you can see how this one down here is going the opposite way. This is one of my other row 2s down here. So this line will form at this stitch next time. So we're going to work these first 6 stitches, and we're going to repeat in the pattern of purling to do the opposite on this row. So we're going to purl 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then go on to those next set, 4, 5, and then 6. So you're only borrowing again from the first 3 from that set of 6 that's there. And then you're going to turn your work again, just as you did on row 1, and knit. So we're going to knit all the way to the end of those 6. So you're just going to continue repeating, and we're going to purl 6 and turn and knit 6. And you're going to need that 2 more times. So it's a total of 3 times repeating. And then I want you to pause your video right now, and then I'll meet you back up when you're ready to move on to the next 6 stitches, and you'll be able to see what that looks like. All right, see you soon. All right, so I have done my 3 repeats, and now I need to go ahead and purl 6 times to get to the next 6 stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then you go all the way down here, and now you can see that next set of 3 that's available, and then you're going to be grabbing the first set of 3 from that long panel that you had created previous. So you're just simply just going to start purling. So purl 1, 2, 3, grab the next 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then turn and knit your 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, then turn. And you're just going to continue repeating. So you can see where that strand is from the connection point, and then that is what's going to make these long strands here. Okay, so continue in that pattern, repeat, and then when you finish your multiple of 3s, remember to purl all the way across to get to the next set. Pause your video. I'll meet you back up when we get to the last 3 stitches. See you soon. All right, so we're going to work on the last 3 stitches, and they're done exactly the same. We're just going to be purling them first, and then turning and knitting, and then repeating just as we did before. And then you still will need to finish purling across when you reach the end of this little modular section, because you've got to get your yarn all the way to the last stitch. This one just goes way faster. So this is my end of my second repeat on this. Purling. And the third repeat of knitting. Okay, so this is after the repeats, and then we're just going to purl across. And as you can see, my stitches are rather loose. I'm using obviously a larger needle to achieve this than the yarn needs, but I like this loose stockinette lace that has been made by Modular Knitting, and no wraps. So of course you can see it laid out. I've got several rows made. If you want to look at this closely, what you're looking at is this is actually a row 1 below here, and then we just did the row 2. So you can see how much this has grown here. All right, keep working on your project. I hope you enjoyed this. Please click down below and tell me what you think of this Lacy Stockinette stitch. And please be sure and subscribe if this is your first time here. I'm so glad you came. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe and bell icon to get more tutorials like this. I hope you have a great day, and happy knitting and crochet. Bye-bye.